New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. And hello again, dear ones. Dr. Robert with you here on New Thought Conversations, that occasional opportunity where I get to sit down with someone that maybe perhaps is real so adjacent to New Thought, we haven't yet found a place for her to sit around this network. And truthfully, I actually have people lining up to interview our guest today. So I'm really excited to have a conversation with Tama Kieves. Now, Tama is an honors graduate of Harvard Law School. She left her law practice to write a book and help others breathe their most meaningful self-expression. She's a best-selling author of A Year Without Fear, 365 Days of Magnificence, and others. Her newest groundbreaking book, Learning to Trust Yourself, Breaking Through the Blocks That Hold You Back, comes out March 4th. That's tomorrow. Yes, folks, that's tomorrow. That's why we're here today to talk with her. And what a wonderful opportunity this is. Now, Tama's been featured on USA Today, Oprah Media, TEDx, and more. And she's a sought-after speaker, visionary career success coach. And I'll tell you, I was looking at one of her books today, and this looks like a major coaching program over 6 months, right in that one little book. So I'm really excited to have her with us today. Tama, welcome to New Thought Media Network.
I'm excited to be here with you.
We are excited to have you here with us as well. And we've got a lot of ground to cover. And so I would love to learn, get started with a bit more of sort of how we were in your introduction. We talk about you're a Harvard lawyer and you kind of throw that all in, I don't know, aside or away. I trust it still informs much of what you do, but realize maybe there's something different for you. And in reading just a little bit of Inspired and Unstoppable today, I ran across a couple passages that point to that. And so I'd love for you to share with us a little bit, kind of start there, that awakening as you're on that track to success that everybody says we should be on, but maybe something else is calling a little bit.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to that, where there's something more for you, that there's something you're meant to do, but you've been fitting into what you're supposed to. So when I was young, I knew that I wanted to write. That was my dream, and always wanted to write. But I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, to an Orthodox Jewish family, and I got, you're gonna write, you're gonna starve, you're gonna write. That was basically the encouragement talk for my dreams. And many of us got this. And my mother said something like, "Well, you can't be reasonable. Get a job. You'll write on the Sundays." So I abandoned everything. I abandoned those dreams, and I went off to law school, and I got accepted to Harvard Law School and graduated with honors and ended up on a partnership track of a major law firm. I was doing very, very well. Externally, it all looked great. It all looked right. It was what you're supposed to do. And internally, I was just dying. I was really starting to feel empty and scared because I thought, oh my God, if I have what you're supposed to have in life and I'm not happy at all, there's something really wrong with me.
Yeah.
I was terrified. And thank God a friend at the time said something amazing to me. And he said, if you've been this successful doing something you don't even love, what could you do with what you love? And so that's really what began my whole journey. I decided you get one life, and I wanted to know what would happen if I trusted this inner voice in me instead of what everybody else was telling me. So that became my whole journey of how I started becoming a writer and living those dreams.
Beautiful. And that was the phrase that jumped out at me out of the book today when I was looking at it. Is how just imagine how much more you could do and how successful would be with something you truly loved. So was writing always there, like in law school or in college before that? Was the writing like the exciting part of it, and or how was that?
I really end up writing was always my dream and my goal deep inside. And people always say, "Oh, you're so lucky you knew what you wanted to do." I really didn't, like I didn't know writing what, I wanted to write poetry and essays and fiction. I didn't know what I wanted to write, but and law school and my professional life just kind of dulled everything. Just dull, just when you
Mm,
are working that hard, when you are denying your soul and your spirit, when you are choosing against it, it's like the life force goes off, the lights go out, right? And
mm.
so you even start losing touch with what you wanted. I remember I was in a therapy session one time, I remember, and and I was telling the therapist, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I don't know what I want to do. And he said, well, you said you like to write. And I'd be like, yeah, but what am I going to do with my life? Like, that didn't even count. That didn't even register. And I think so many of us don't trust our instincts, don't trust our genius, don't trust our soul. And that's why my new book, Learning to Trust Yourself, that's why I'm obsessed with that, of like really helping people learn how to listen to and trust this encoded genius, this instruction in you that will help you every single step of the way. Because when you're doing what you're meant to do in this life, a lot of times it is an unknown path. A lot of times it is facing a lot of uncertainty. I didn't have a prescribed path. I didn't have there was no easy track for me. I had to make it up, or what I say, I had to receive it moment by
Mm.
moment from my instincts and my love. And that actually began my journey to spirituality. I had not really been practicing spirituality before that. But when you're scared out of your mind and there is no traditional security anymore, you start opening up to that real security.
Beautiful. Having grown up in New Jersey, we might have bumped into each other somewhere around the way, and yeah, as a young woman coming up in Brooklyn in a Jewish tradition, there isn't an awful lot of space or room to go searching outside of that or exploring outside of that, and um, so it's a I love that you eventually find yourself in well, very deeply involved with the Course in Miracles.
Yes.
And so tell us a little bit about that. How did the course find you?
So I've now taught it for over 30 years. I've also spoken at New Thought churches all over the country, of just who knew this little Jewish girl, was going to get in New Thought churches. But I've taught A Course in Miracles for over 30 years. And I found it because, again, when I was leaving law, I was terrified and I was just so afraid of, at the time, people always say, oh my God, you must be so courageous. You were following your dream. It wasn't courage, it was desperation. It was just so
Mm,
much fear. And uh, a boyfriend at the time suggested A Course in Miracles to me. An open-minded wonder that I was, get that crap away from me. That was my first reaction to what was going to become my life's path. And then he was smart. He started teaching some of the concepts to me without telling me what it was. And so he said, and then I'd be like, oh my God, that's amazing. Wow, that's incredible. And he's like, it's in that blue book you won't look at, and so I told him, I'll tell you what, I'm going to read that book. I'm going to read it like a lawyer. I'm going to read it line by line. I'm going to show you how ridiculous it is, and then we'll never talk about it again. I've been reading it ever
Ever
since.
since.
Ever since. Because because A Course in Miracles, and it's very much in my new book, Learning to Trust Yourself, I use a lot of Course in Miracles, just because it's my background in training, and so much of what I deeply believe our life's purpose is on this planet, especially at this time, is to really listen to the inner voice within us. But when I say inner voice, I mean the inner voice of love inside you, not the inner voice of fear. And most of us really are listening to self-criticism, self-comparison, disempowerment, all these junky thoughts about who we are, our limitations. And for me, it took some undoing to start really listening to another voice, the real
Mhm.
voice, the voice that says, you can do anything I ask. There's a plan for you. There's a path for you here. There's instruction for you. We need you. We need your gifts. Stop dancing around them and doubting them and hesitating. This world is hungry for what you have. I think it is the most important thing we will ever learn on this planet is to follow that one voice and that one voice only. And it's a continuous path. It's a continuous learning.
Beautiful. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Um, okay, so where's the book journey start? Where's the and what's it like to really kind of I've done a couple of little things myself, and I have a Substack, and yet you've been putting out considerable works for a considerable amount of time and bestseller status and all these different things that go around it. What was it like in those very first days of stepping out as an author in the world?
It's still like that. It's still a journey. People have this illusion that, oh, and then it all happens and you're just and everything is wonderful. It's like, yeah, except you have your own crazy mind. It never ends. But I will tell you, like for me, the greatest journey I've ever gone on in my life is trusting this inner voice, right? And so I knew that I wanted to write, like I said, but I didn't even know what, how, or making a living. People think, thought, oh, well, you were an attorney, you must have been rich or whatever. It's like, no, because I was spending money on stupid things. Because when you're miserable and you're unhappy, like you don't budget well. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
And so when I first left to write a book, I didn't even know I was going to write a book. When I first left to write, and then like dancing around, my first book, This Time I Dance, Creating the Work You Love, took me 12 years to write. 12 years. People think, oh, overnight, you just took
Right.
off, right? 12 years of doubting myself,
Mm.
freaking out, shaming myself. My colleagues were buying, but like homes that were like huge. I was living in some tiny studio apartment that was smaller than their bathrooms,
Right.
of,
Mhm.
and I'm very proud of that journey because it was trusting that voice when I was scared out of my mind. And I did other things to make a living. Meanwhile, I waited tables, I started teaching, I started coaching, other people. But I didn't have an agent, I didn't have a contract, I didn't have a publisher, I had a billion rejection letters. But I just kept feeling like I really think I'm meant to do this book. I knew it was the book I needed, right? It's like there were, because that particular book was so much about how do you transition, how do you find what you love, and how do you change your careers. And it's not, and the way that I write isn't like typical self-help with, here's my 3 easy steps. And if you do them immediately, you'll manifest instantaneously. That's not me. I'm very honest, and I share the journey, and I share all the fears. Anyway, I finished writing the book. I self-published it. I didn't know what else to do. I self-published it. And I kept hearing an inner voice the whole time that just kept telling me, put it in the river, just put it in the river, just get it out there.
Mm.
I'll take care of it. But it's terrifying to do that, and to believe in that, and to spend the money to do it. And you don't know what you're doing. And 4 months after I self-published it, I got an email out of the blue that said, "Your fairy godmother has arrived." I swear to God. And it was it was a vice president of marketing and publicity for Random House. And she had been in a career transition and freaking out, and somehow found my self-published book on Amazon. Said, "This is the best book I've ever read on finding your calling and your dreams." She got it to Tarcher, a part of Penguin and Random House. They bought the book exactly the way it was. They didn't change
Yeah.
they didn't, as an unknown author, that would never happen. They didn't change the writing. They didn't change the title. They published it. They bought every other book I've done. This new book, Learning to Trust Yourself, my main guy from there went on to St. Martin's Press. So he took me with him to St. Martin's Press. So this new baby's coming out in St. Martin's Press. But yeah, it was an amazing, amazing journey of continuing to believe, because the main thing I guess I'd want to say is that so many people get lost on what you should do, what you're supposed to do, right?
Right.
And that, by the way, that's a lot of what I really wanted to write about in Learning to Trust Yourself, is that we get in our own way constantly because we're just jumping through hoops that other people tell us, instead of listening and receiving and trusting and daring the unthinkable, the unparalleled, a love we can't even imagine, that
Yeah.
continues to stay with us the whole time. And so for me, that's been the biggest journey, because I was a little rule follower. I was just little straight A girl. Tell me what to do, I'll do it. I'll jump through that hoop. And for me to go on my own and to listen to this incredible voice, and anybody on the spiritual path I know will probably relate to this. It's scary, right? It's, it
Oh
can
yeah.
be scary, right? It's like, yeah, I'm basing my entire life on a feather flew when I said that, so that must be a sign. Like, I'll just tell my financial advisor, no worries, the feather flew. I'm good.
I've got my prayer team on it. The
I've
money
got
will
my
be
prayer
here.
team on
Yeah.
it. Exactly. And yet it is the best security there is. Ain't no other.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. And it sounds like, so okay, the journey begins,
Yes.
and you've had this ability, this opportunity to sort of share that journey along the way, and step by step.
Yes.
And I love that you and I have finally met. We've been sharing for the last, what, 3 days maybe, or something. We finally connected, and in that time, um, my wife's been is reminded of. She actually saw you at Mile High Church here in Lakewood, Colorado, and I had been aware of your existence. I wasn't aware of your work very well, but I was aware of your existence. And so I've been trying to dabble and touch base and see how many things I can see, and see a bunch of touch points about you. And it feels like, and I said this to my wife the other day, it feels like I found another soul sibling,
Mm, mm,
someone that has been on a journey,
yes.
and it's not the overnight success.
Yes.
Um, Even though they say that after 20 years, right? 20 years of hard work is what
Yes.
it takes to be an overnight success these days, or maybe 30 by now.
Yes.
So, and but you've never seemed to back away from any of it. You've stayed in as Brown would say, I guess you've stayed in that arena
Hmm.
of figuring out what works
Yes.
and sharing that with as many people as you possibly
Yes.
can.
Yes.
And to
Yes.
me, that's part of the new thought. That's the way of life. That's
That
how
is
we do
it.
this thought, right?
That is it. And that's what we're here for. And, I just want to say to anybody who's listening, if your life feels like it's not working, or maybe there's challenges going on, I think sometimes it's like spirit, pushing the lever a little bit, right? To really help us to undo whatever belief is in the way, that whatever that hesitation is, because I look at now my life and I think, I really believe it was my destiny, so to speak, to go to law school and have that whole experience, because I can reach so many more people because of it, because it has that credibility, but also because I know in my heart of hearts and my soul of souls that as much as I want to run for the hills some days, and I do, there are days where it's like new thought, new schmott. I'm done. Give me some damn legitimacy, security, whatever, right? On those days, thank God, I know inside my soul that never worked for me. It's empty. It's meaningless. This path is exquisite, and the way that it works is exquisite. If you say, I'm a junkie, I stay with it because it's like it pays off. It's that intermittent payoff, right? But it pays off, and you start realizing, oh my God, I really am loved. Oh my God, there really is this holy, magnificent power on this universe. And that as we change our thoughts, we change our identity. We change who we think we are, who we know we are. And I deeply believe that is where this planet is going and where it needs to go. Like in the crazy times we live in, we need extraordinary answers. And we are the extraordinary answers. One of the things I have in this new book, Learning to Trust Yourself, is that broken people make great trailblazers. Broken people make great trailblazers. And what I mean by that is, for all of us who are in pain of any kind, who are struggling in any way, we are healing. We are learning how to heal. And you may feel like, oh my God, I'm broken. I'm not normal. Thank God you're not normal. Thank God you're not ordinary. But in our brokenness, in our discomfort and uncertainty, we are tapping those resources within us. We are going deeper than we would have, and we are going to bring up the gold. And that's what we're going to give to humanity. At this point in my entire life, I inspire all these people just by telling people about meltdown after meltdown after meltdown I've had. That's basically, if you read all my books, that's basically every book is, and then I had this meltdown, and then I had this issue, and then I had this thing. But it's how I came out of it and who I became because of it. And I want everyone else to know that.
I love that. All right, folks. If you want to know about Tama's latest meltdown, buy her new book. It'll be in there somewhere. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I'm reading it, so we're getting there. I'll find it. But no, seriously, it takes something special, I believe, to be that real, right? To not hide behind the cloak of, oh, this happened to a client, or oh, this happened to somebody I know, or can you just imagine if this happened to you? But to be in a place of, this is what I went through.
This is what I'm going through.
Yep.
Yes.
And it can't be your experience. And I'm not telling you to make it your experience, but people need to know that we're all learning. Well, you kind of said it earlier, making it up as we go along.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Receiving it, right? We're learning. I don't trust a teacher who's not still learning on some level, who's not doing their own work, who's not, and I shouldn't say that there are some enlightened masters or whatever, but I do believe that many teachers, or visionaries, we're doing our own work as well. It's one of the reasons I do classes online and I do retreats. And it's like, I love meeting my compatriots. I love meeting my people like you, I love meeting the other souls who are doing this, because it is the most important work on this planet at this time. And it works. And we forget that it works. We get alone in our heads. I wanted my books, and particularly this new one, Learning to Trust Yourself. I really wanted it, like, if somebody couldn't hire me as a coach, or they couldn't come to a retreat, or even if they could, I wanted it to walk you through when you're alone in your room and you're scared, or when you want to take that business to that next level, but you don't want to do everything that everybody's telling you, but you want to follow what's right for you. I wanted to be that voice in your mind and your heart and your soul, over and over and over, reminding you of what's true.
Yeah. And that, what you've just shared is what really reminds me here in Inspired and Unstoppable. That's what I felt just picking it up, just reading the title, just flipping through and looking at chapters and looking at, I can, All right, I did read the last few pages just in case to see how it ends, but but just to be able to look at this and approach it this, and I said it earlier, this feels like it's a good 6-month coaching course
Absolutely.
for
At
some
least.
to
Yes.
take your time and to be in the work, and you've done the work. That is obvious. The demonstration is there, and you're coming into an even greater experience of it, because now here we are, trusting ourselves.
And right now it's so sacred to me. It is the day before the launch of Learn
Yes.
to Trust Yourself. And this book has already, thank God, gotten so many amazing reviews and such positive feedback already. I'm so, so grateful, So
Mm.
yeah, I'm excited. It's a whole new wave for me of really sharing my work in the world. And I'm very excited about it.
Good, good, good. So we're gonna bring up this website here for you to look at, folks, real quick, and you can find this at tamakieves.com. And oh, I forget the exact. This one is trust dash yourself. We'll put
Yeah,
that
so
in
it's,
the
it's
notes too.
tamakieves.com/trust-yourself. And then
Yeah.
you find out anything you want about the book. And if you're hearing this by launch day tomorrow and you want to order, there's all kinds of incredible launch day bonuses also on March 4th. But if not, just get yourself a book and get this journey started. By the way, in the book itself, there are so many resources you can download. Like I put a lot of free things in the book itself, like videos you can download and meditations or whatever. I just wanted to stockpile it with goodness because I want people doing this.
I noticed that about your website as well. Lots of opportunity to engage. Lots of, it seemed like every time I turned a page, there was another grab this, engage here, experience this, and it didn't feel, as I'm looking at it, it doesn't feel like it's a marketing ploy. It totally feels so authentic
Yes.
that even in your website design, you can feel the intention to be of service to people.
Thank
And I
you. That means a lot to me. And speaking of me of service, if it's okay, there's a tool that I'd love to give. Of just it's so many people ask me, well, how do I do that? How do I listen to my inner voice, or how do I start trusting myself? You can get this right now, and it's really, truly, it is the best tool that I have ever used. I created it, and I've used it for years and years and years. It is the one thing I do to keep sane. It's one of the things I do to keep sane. I've used it with thousands of students and clients, and I finally did a video and a little training on it. It's fun. It's called the Inspired Self Dialogues, and basically what it does is it helps you to undo fear and doubt and hear that inner voice immediately. And you do it through writing, but there's a great video on it. If you want to get it, it's always on my website at tamakieves.com/best-tool. And I really recommend it. And I recommend you do it because it will really help you hear this genius that's already inside you. And that's what I want. If I could help people with anything, and again, that's what learning to trust yourself is about. It's creating a different relationship with yourself. It's creating
mm,
a different relationship with yourself. It's getting out of self-criticism, because if you can get out of self-criticism and fear, you can finally start hearing the voice of spirit or the universe or genius. When we say, I can't hear the voice, I don't hear it, I don't feel it, it's because there's some kind of judgment in the way, right? And so with that best tool, with the Inspired Self Dialogues, I let you get that judgment and that stuff out, and then I let the voice of spirit answer, because that intelligence is always in us and always available. We just need to learn how to do it.
yeah. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Yes. All right. So tomorrow is launch day.
Yeah.
And again, folks, that's why we're doing this today, because we want you to have a sneak peek of what's coming tomorrow. And you were booked solid for tomorrow, and I couldn't get.
Yeah.
So we'll be straight up on that one too,
Yeah.
folks. So, but tell us a little more, like, what's launch day look like for you, and then what comes after it? Is there a tour? Is there
Yes,
a
yes, yes, yes.
other virtual experiences we
Yes,
can
yes,
engage
yes.
with?
So first of all, if you are hearing this and you have a chance and you're hearing this today, I have a launch day party tomorrow that's free. And that's at 1 o'clock Eastern time. You can also get the recording, but it's not just a party. I'm doing a self-trust dedication. I'm going to get us all in the space of learning to trust ourselves and making a dedication to trusting yourself more than you ever have before. So maybe you have friends that want to join us. Like I love creating community of people who are inspired and living in love instead of fear. So if you can join us for Launch Day, March 4th, or get the recording on it, it's on my website. And I think it's Launch Day Party or something. Yeah, it's tamakieves.com / launch day launch launch day party. And as far as book tour, yes. So I have my schedule on my website, but I lead a weekend retreat at the Kripalu Center in April. So if anybody can join me for that, it's amazing. But I am all over at different New Thought churches. I'm in Minneapolis. I'm in Portland, Oregon. I'm in San Francisco. I'm in LA. I'm here in Denver. I'm at Tattered Cover. I'm at Mile High.
Wait. Okay, when are you going to be at Tattered Cover, and when are you
Tattered
going to be at
Cover April 9th. Tattered Cover April 9th.
April 9th?
Yes.
And Mile High?
Mile High is June 8th, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, but you might, with anything I say, you're going to always want to check those. Check the validity. I'm at Boulder Bookstore, but I'm all over the country. And if people want to have me speak, I'd love to. That's the other thing. I'm really trying to reach as many people as possible. So if somebody's listening to this and wants to bring me in to speak, we really work with people to make that possible. Or it could even be virtual. It just or if you have a group you want me to speak to, or even for a short period of time, we are really trying to make this work more and more available, because I just think that, especially in the times we're living in right now, this is something we really need, and we need to band together in inspiration right now and to tap those other powers.
Yeah, I'm so with you there. We were talking about this the other day, that it is the time. We are the ones.
Yes.
We've been saying it for years and decades, and now it's here. And and that's why I also think that your book is divinely timed in that regard as well, because there are a lot of people whose voices want to be heard.
Yes.
And maybe need some help with the trusting ourselves piece, with the really recognizing. And I know for myself, I'm very very engaged with the life visioning process, and for me, after 20 years, I can kind of tell the difference of when it's my ego talking and when it's divine talking.
Yes.
And we have to be able to come to that point of being able to trust that this is the divine, and I don't have to question that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have to drag my heels, and I don't have to look for validation, and I don't have to look for 2 or 3 layers of that validation. If I get started, well, by the laws of the universe, providence is going to line up on our side.
And your life is the validation. That's what's always kept me going, is that when I do it, when I do what I love, what I'm meant to do, or when I give my gifts, in the moment I'm receiving the benefits. It's not even something that's coming later. It's happening now. Most of us are just waiting and waiting for a guarantee, or like you said, validation, or is this the right voice? Try it, you'll like it. Like, try it, and you will know. It's like that Bible quote, by their fruits ye shall know them, right?
Yeah.
It's like, when I really do my right work, it just, in the moment, I know it's real. It. And we are now being challenged, invited to, like you said, stop hesitating and doubting. And what I keep saying, to step into that undiluted brilliance, to keep going, right? Instead of going back and forth, but to leap into that undiluted brilliance and take it into the world.
Beautiful. All right. Well, folks, there it is. If you are out and about at all this summer and you see the name Tama Kieves on a poster, on a internet placard, on a church bulletin, or in an upcoming newsletter for a center, if it were me, I'm going to be there. And I would think you would want to be there as well. So Learning to Trust Yourself, it comes out tomorrow. Amazon and all the normal places, I imagine. Yep. So all you got to do, folks, is look it up. And I don't even know what it takes to put you over that bestseller category tomorrow, but
Order the book.
I know that.
Tomorrow, especially if you can order it on Amazon, like of just tomorrow, that would really help. Just that focused launch. Yes.
I do know that first day is
Yes.
important.
Yes.
So
So important. So thank you.
Absolutely. And thank you. And we're going to see you again, I am sure, because I've got a few more show hosts on this network that would already love to speak with you. So you and I can chat about that after this and get you all hooked up there. But folks, thanks for being a part of what we're doing here on New Thought Media Network. Thanks for tuning in and supporting Tama and her work. It's vital and it's important, and it's what's necessary right now. So we really really appreciate you being a part of it all. I'm Dr. Robert. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, until next time, we wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.